to a early perspective video. These are videos I just do more like on like demos, open betas or closed betas or alphas, whatever you want to call them, but they're usually unscripted, so they're not full proper reviews, because if I were to do a full proper review on a game, it'd probably be when it was released, not like the demo or anything like that. So that's what I'm doing today, and today we are focusing on the Resident Evil Village demo and maybe a little bit of Reverse, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I played the Resident Evil Village demo, which I'll tell you, that was kind of a chore to complete, because you have to have, Capcom decided that we have to have all these times. It's like different time zones. You have to have it scheduled, mark it on your calendar, cross off the dates. Like for each platform, there's different dates, different times. It's so dumb. I don't know why they decided to do that. They did. I know they did this. Like I think it was like Resident Evil 2, and I don't remember if they did a Resident Evil 3 demo, but they did do it. And it's like, and also it's a time demo, so you only get 30 minutes per area to do stuff. And like even though like it ends, like there's an end to it, there's like a certain point where it says thank you for playing the demo. I don't know why they put a 30-minute cap on it, and you can't play it again like on the same account. You have to make another account, which is what I had to do, which I didn't actually have to do that, but I had to do it with Resident Evil 2 to like kind of experience the full thing. So yeah, so I don't really know what was up with that, but anyways, yeah, we're talking about Resident Evil Village demo, and I was gonna say I really like this. I really like the direction they're going for with this new Resident Evil Village. It feels very different from Resident Evil 7, which is good, because Resident Evil 7 was very much more horror focused. Was a lot different from the rest of the Resident Evils, as it was kind of a little bit of a return to form, because RE6 kind of sucked. And it's a lot more of a Call of Duty basic zombie game that you don't want to play. Resident Evil 7 was a little bit of a return to form, but then now it's kind of an awkward time to be like trying to get into Resident Evil now, because you have all these old remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 3, which are very old school style Resident Evil, which are still great, they still hold up. Then there's Resident Evil 7 though, which is like kind of new, it's kind of more horror focused. Instead, Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake are just more puzzle and gameplay focused, which is good. Which that is definitely what Resident Evil 8 is trying to do, is bring the best elements of 7 and the older games together, which is good, which I like that. You can tell there's definitely a lot less horror. There wasn't really much like jump scares in this. I mean, there were two, but they didn't really get me, and I don't know, I do wish that they would have done a little bit more horror elements. I mean, some of the areas were pretty creepy, but again, this is just the demo. Most of the stuff we've already seen in like the trailers, and because we also had another Maiden demo, which is just like a visual demo, which kind of really expressed the horror elements of it. So I do think that in later places we'll see definitely more horror. But now let's focus on the combat, which the combat is great. It is much better than Resident Evil 7, which Resident Evil 7's combat was good, but the horror was the focus of it, so the combat didn't really get to shine. Which Resident Evil 8, it feels a lot more like Resident Evil 4 combat. It really does. This feels like Resident Evil 4 2, or 4 times 2, because 4 times 2 equals 8, but yeah, this definitely, like, I'm glad that this is the direction it's going, because Resident Evil 4 is my favorite Resident Evil game, and it's great, and I'm glad that because literally, the store's menu is just like the briefcase from Resident Evil 4. I mean, the crafting menu isn't, because Resident Evil 4 didn't have a crafting menu, but still, you get what I mean. And it just like very feels like that, because Resident Evil 4, they have like the barricades from Resident Evil 4 2, because Resident Evil 4, everybody's experience with Resident Evil 4 is different. Like there was always something like that people would talk about, like in the end, it's like, oh yeah, that place I had to fight off like 50 different zombies, but then other people didn't experience that, because a lot of people played Resident Evil 4 very differently. And Resident Evil 4 wasn't really as horror focused either. It was more, basically combat, which this is more combat focused. And the combat in this game is great. It gives you, it's a lot more in depth than Resident Evil 7, because like you shoot a guy's leg, he like trips over. But it feels like just so much more satisfying to hit. Oh yeah, I will tell you one thing though. If you were playing the demo, I do recommend turning down, I think it was like the aim swaying, I can't remember, I'll show it up on screen right now, but turn this and set these two settings right here to none, because that makes it feel so much better. Trust me. I don't know why this is on by default. I don't know why, because like then that kind of hinders people's experience who don't feel that. Like, it just feels so much more like fluid and better. And then now let's go back to like the gunplay, because the guns, well, I mean, we've already gotten two, but they feel great to use. And like the pistol, which is actually really cool. I actually really like the pistol a lot. It just feels so satisfying to finally like actually hit something and like aim and move. It's actually really fun. I'm glad that they're going this direction. And the shotgun feels awesome. I don't know why it does. Like, it feels so much more like fast paced. Like, the shotgun just feels awesome. Shotguns in games generally do, but this one really feels awesome to use. And again, I am glad that they're doing that. So I don't really understand what's with the flour though, because like it just like there's random like bags of flour that like have like an interact thing that just says like you tap A, and then like under it Ethan's like, oh, looks like a bag of flour. Thank you, Ethan. Your description of this is just as useful as the bag of flour themselves. I heard somewhere that apparently they're supposed to be used for cover, but they're like placed in places where you can't really use them as cover. I don't know, because like if you hit them, they just like all collapse. All the flour apparently just is gone within one knife hit. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, it doesn't really drag the game down. I just don't really know why they decided to put it in there. Anyways, and then also the lichens. I really do like the lichens. Oh yeah, because there's also the castle. I don't remember what those are called. I was calling them zombies. The lichens are the werewolf type looking things, which I really like those designs. I like the variety of them. There's like the one bald guy, and there's the one guy with hair. Yeah, that's kind of the only two I saw, but there's bound to be others. And I don't really know what was with their AI. Like, cause there's this one building, I'll probably put the footage on the screen. Like, I just kept like, he just kept coming up to the edge, and like I just shoot him, he walk back, come up, shoot him in the face, he walk back, come up, shoot him, and it just kept happening and happening until eventually I killed him, which I don't know exactly why the AI are pretty dumb in this, but well, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal, and unless like it's very frequent and gets annoying, but again, this is just a demo, so maybe it could be fixed later. I doubt it though. I guess the creature design too. Let's talk about, I guess the zombies too. The zombies look pretty creepy, not incredibly creepy, but these are like still some of the best looking zombies in any video game. Because actually Resident Evil probably has like the best looking zombies ever. Period. I seriously think that they're the best looking zombies there. And also, we had the, what was it, Lady Dalmatrice's daughters. Oh yeah, by the way, how do you pronounce her name? Everybody, even the official people at Capcom, call it something different. Like I thought it was Dimitrescu, but then I don't know, the lady who works at, I think, What's Good Games, who was on the Resident Evil showcase thing, she called it Dimitrescu. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how it's pronounced. But then Ethan calls her Dalmatresque. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do, if they're trying to confuse us with this. Maybe it's a fun game. Oh yeah, Lady Dalmatresque's design is actually really cool. I'm not saying that because she's 9 feet, because of what the internet thinks. Yeah, 9 feet tall woman, I get it. But I actually do think she actually looks pretty cool, and we haven't had her stalking us yet like a tyrant, because we know that is happening. We got a little bit of footage of that from IGN, because she has those super long fingernails that we see extend out, like Wolverine claws, so that'll be cool. And but her daughters, which are the bug things, I don't understand why they did the bug coming out of her hand just to be gross, and whatever. And those are pretty cool. I do like them. We haven't really gotten to see much of them. I bet you they will kill them or something, then they'll drop and then it's 4 pieces of a puzzle. But you actually did see the 4 pieces of the puzzle. And I do think that them kind of chasing you and being bugs, kind of almost seems unkillable, and just everywhere is a swarm, is really cool. I do like that design a lot. And yeah, that's about it for the combat. I can't think of anything anything else. Oh yeah, the explosives are really cool too. I liked how like you threw them, like the guys would just go flying everywhere. That was pretty cool. Let's see, what else for the combat? I'm thinking. Oh yeah. One more thing too. I don't really know what's with that, like where Ethan's like blocking, and then like he can shoot like while he's blocking. I don't know if you were able to ever do that during Resident Evil 7, but it's kind of overpowered because like you just go boom headshot, boom headshot, boom headshot if you line it up correctly. Which I do think that's pretty cool. But I don't know if you could ever do that during Resident Evil 7. Oh yeah. Also, I don't really know what was up with like that, because during the trailers, and I've seen other people like during their playthroughs of the demo, like being able to like push away the enemies, which I didn't get that prompt. I didn't get the prompt at all. Like in Resident Evil 4, you could like kick them away if like you stunned them. Like, it looked really goofy, but I didn't ever get that prompt. So because it looked cool in the trailers, you just like do like a full on like dying light, like body slam kick on them, like just shoving there. That's pretty cool. That's all for the combat, I think. What else is there? So yeah, let's talk about the overall story and like how the characters. I think that so far we've seen Dominatrix. I think Dominatrix is actually a really cool character. Not because of what Capcom wants us to think. Well, I guess we already kind of think that, the internet does at least, but the design is really cool, and I do think that her design as like character being like a massive tyrant. Now she's like the head of this like huge castle, and like the winemaking thing, that's really cool. She's like vampire who is like making like the blood into like some type of wine recipe thing, even if it is just like straight blood. But that's actually really cool. And the daughters design how they act as characters. I say some pretty interesting stuff to you. I'll give them that. They're not as crazy as their mom. I don't know their actual mom, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And oh yeah, the village characters too. That was actually pretty cool. Like I seen like all like the characters kind of interact and stuff like that. I like the one guy who like smashed the drunk guy who like smashed the bottle on top of the old guy who's turning into a lichen. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. And then, so the one girl dies. I can't remember her name. It's like, I'm not even gonna try to remember it because I'm just gonna say it wrong. But she ends up dying. She's not dead. I don't know why they're making this. Well, I mean, they probably know we know she's not dead, stuff like that. Because she'll come back later in the game. I bet you she's not dead. You can't just simply die in Resident Evil. Ada Wong survived like the like 100-foot fall in Resident Evil 2, so she'll be fine. And I guess Ethan has a character too. One my like thing that I didn't mention during my review of Resident Evil 7 was how like Ethan, because I didn't really notice that as time like until I like went back and replayed the game before, and I was like, oh, Ethan's kind of a flat character. He has like no reaction to anything other than like he's like, do me a favor and stay dead to Jack Baker, but that's kind of it. Maybe they'll train him more of a character. He seems to have a tiny bit more of emotion now that he's gone through this type of situation once before, and maybe we'll actually see his face because Capcom is like playing that whole thing of like not being able to see his face because you can see like in the promotional art, even though like you can just look up what Ethan's face looks like because there's like camera mods and stuff like that to see his face. So I don't know, maybe it'll look completely different than what we think it'll look like. So who knows? Oh yeah, and Chris's design, we didn't actually see him during the demo, but his design, like in the trailers at least, is a lot better than Resident Evil 7 Chris Redfield design. Okay, for some reason Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 7, instead of punching the boulder in Resident Evil 5, looks like he ate it. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna leave it at that. No, it looks a lot better this time around though. Before the house, the heads of the house. I really actually like this. Like the 4 heads of the house. Like maybe we'll get like a little bit more of an origin story about Umbrella and how they were formed and stuff like that. It's like, please don't just throw the Umbrella logo there just because it's there. Don't do that. Okay, Capcom. We saw them in a shrine. There's like a shrine in the village. You've seen them in trailers before. There's like one looks like a creepy doll lady, which that actually looks pretty cool. That's one I'm actually kind of excited for because that's like the most mysterious one. And then we also got Heisenberg. Seems like some like cocky like guy who can like lift up metal with his mind, like Magneto, that we've seen. And then also we have the old woman who we did see in the trailers and demo. She's kind of like, coming again. That she, I don't know what's with her. And then this is my biggest gripe so far is that Capcom seems to be showing a little bit too much of the game, if you know what I mean. I don't think that they should have showed us like the head honcho. I forgot her name. The head honcho, her design yet. She's like this bird thing. She still looks pretty creepy because we did see her like in the trailer or in the demo where she like kills a guy with like blood and then she like just like disappears in the ground. Just a pile of blood there where she was. But I don't think that they should have showed her. I don't think that they should have showed her yet. I think they should have kept that a secret. I think I experienced Resident Evil 7 the best way they possibly could have, but like not seeing any of the trailers or any of like the promotional art or nothing about it. I had not heard nothing about it. So I didn't know any of like the bad guys, any of the characters. I didn't even know like Evelyn. I haven't seen the dinner scene. I went back and looked at some of the Resident Evil 7 trailers. I'm like, gosh, they showed a lot of stuff. Like some of the best moments in the game that's like probably been best like if they kind of just left them out of the trailers so people could experience them for themselves. I really wish that they hadn't shown us on Mother Miranda. That's her name, Mother Miranda's design yet. So I don't know. I there's more to this than there's probably a ton of stuff that we haven't seen, like the lake. And there's also the lake monster too. And yeah, that's kind of about it. Ooh, the set pieces. These set pieces are really cool. Like the castle, holy moly, that looks cool from the outside. That looks really cool. And on the inside, it looks really cool as well. Like, dang. This game looks great as well. Like, the graphics are amazing on this game. They look amazing. It's like, the village wasn't that interesting as the castle, like, as visually pleasing as the castle was. But it still looked really cool. It was really creepy. I like the dungeon of the castle. It was actually pretty cool too. It's like this like creepy place because you get like to know a little bit more like what they're doing with like making the wine, and they see like the people who are still alive in the barrels and stuff like that. They really probably like dry out their blood to make the wine, so that was pretty cool. And then we haven't actually seen really anything else. No, we actually haven't seen anything else other than that. Oh no, we would all know soon because the game comes out in like 4 days, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, so that was actually pretty cool. I did like that. Set pieces. That's about it. The set pieces. I'm thinking of a couple more things because I'm gonna move on to Reverse in a minute. Oh dang it! I completely forgot to talk about the Duke. Okay, I gotta talk about this. The Duke looks awesome. His character design is really cool. I like it. I like the way he talks, and his theme is really cool too. And I like the shop. Like the overall shop is like, it's basically just Resident Evil 4, like the merchant from Resident Evil 4, because like you get that like little like upgrade weapons. Because I'm really glad that they're doing this. So now it's like the New Game Plus where you can go through and like get lei, I think it's called, like the currency in this game. Like, and then you can like upgrade your weapons and stuff like that. Like the merchant. Like, cause it has like his own lines, like knowing that these will be classic too. Like the merchant, cause the merchant goes like, "What are you buying, stranger?" I'll buy it at a high price. I can't remember, but yeah, that's what he says. And he actually does reference that too. Like the Duke, he says one of the merchant's lines, and he goes, "It's just something an old friend of mine used to say," which is like, that is a really cool Easter egg. That is a really cool Easter egg. I'm glad that they put that in. And I don't know why he's like breathing in your ear as you're in the shop. Because if you had the volume turned all the way up on your headphones, like you just hear like as you're like buying in the shop from him. So that's pretty funny. I don't know. I mean, maybe they can tune that down a little bit, but yeah. Oh yeah, and the puzzles were cool. I really hope that the puzzles take a little bit more of a center stage, because the puzzles in Resident Evil are really good. No, I think that's about it for the Village demo. So I can't wait for Village to come out soon. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to talk about: Mercenaries. That looks awesome. Like the new Mercenaries game mode. Oh yeah, Mercenaries back from Resident Evil 4. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's also 5 and 6 too, but Resident Evil 4 is like one of its best. It's like a time trial mode, and I like all the new stuff they're adding there. Because we've gotten to see a little bit of it, but not too much, and I'm glad that they're doing this, because this is like definitely just adding on more content to the game. Oh yeah, speaking of new game modes, guess what we get to talk about now? Resident Evil Reavers. Oh yeah, this game. God, this sucks. This is like really bad. Like really bad. Like I cannot believe how bad this is. Yeah, okay, to be fair, I did only play the closed beta, which is like the first beta that you had. Like that itself was a chore to get into because it kept sending me to a Japanese website, even though when I tell it they speak English, it sent me to a Japanese website, which I don't speak Japanese, so that was fun to get through. And then like I actually wait for the registration and stuff like that. It was annoying, but then when I actually did get it, I'm like, oh boy, this is bad. Like it's like the multiplayer. I don't know what Capcom was smoking when they decided this was gonna be a good idea. I don't know what they were thinking, because there's also the Resident Evil Resistance. There's like the multiplayer Dead by Daylight type of thing. Ooh, that was pretty bad too. That thing just did not work. This does not work either at all. It's so janky. Like they like literally did nothing. They just put them in there, put like a scoreboard on there, put some netcode on there, nothing else. Zilch. Nada. That was it. That's literally all they did. I don't get it. Oh my gosh, that's so bad. And characters were like really overpowered too. Like Ada Wong was overpowered. Holy moly, because she just had like this like super weird animation where she like goes back and then like she shoots the arrow, stuff like that. Like all they did was like just include people from the remakes and from like the remakes, and that was kind of it. Like I wish they had like a little bit more, like I don't know, put like Albert Wesker in there or something like that. Do that. Like this should be like Super Smash Bros for Resident Evil, but instead there's like a few cool characters. There's no callbacks to any of the other games. It was so dumb. I don't know why they decided to do a comic book filter over it. I don't know why this is in here. Don't know why Capcom is doing this entirely sure. I don't know why Capcom does anything, to be frank, nowadays. They make a lot of weird decisions, just like with this demo. If this was a separate $60 game, this would be one of the worst selling games in history. I guarantee you. It would probably be like really poorly marketed too, because this just does not look fun. This does not look fun, like outside even. Like, oh boy. Like I knew what I was getting into when I knew I was getting into because we had seen like all the trailers and stuff like that. But I didn't think it'd be this bad. I do not like this at all. I will be spending like no time in this. Like I'll be doing it to play for review, and that is it. That is it. There's no wonder they're like not marketing this at all. They're marketing the Mercenaries mode than they are this for Resident Evil. So I don't know what they were thinking. And oh yeah, one thing I do want to mention though about that is so they have like the different characters, and in that Leon has a roundhouse kick. The roundhouse kick from Resident Evil 4. Reportedly a Resident Evil 4 remake has been in the works, and the rest of this game is just borrowed assets from the other remakes. So Resident Evil 4, what they could have been doing is taking that asset from Resident Evil 4 and make this in the works and just plopped it into here because they're too lazy to do anything. They probably just went up to the guys who are working on it and was like, hey, I think that's a little bit interesting look into the Resident Evil 4 remake. Oh, well, that's kind of it for the Resident Evil 8 demo and the reverse beta. And so I'm actually really looking forward to Resident Evil 8, not so much the reverse, but so I will definitely be reviewing it. I have my pre-order for Resident Evil 8 ready to go, so I'll be jumping on that the first minute I get. Alright, that's gonna be it for me, and see ya.